For everyone in attendance and for Charm TV, we're about to begin. Ready?
You're ready.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City's Thursday, May the 4th, 2023 docket. We have a mixed docket, first violations, and then a bunch of regular items. Is there any preliminary words you have, Mr. Chairman?
Now let's get started.
All right. Calling item number 1 on today's docket, violation hearing for MD J3D Entertainment LLC, trading as Larry Flint's Hustler Club, 18 Custom House Avenue. Holders of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, charged with 3 violations of board rules stemming from the same incident on January 27, 2023, to wit, a violation of Alcoholic Beverages Rule 3.12 General Welfare, Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05A, incorporation of liquor license rules and regulations to applicable licensees, and a violation of the Adult Entertainment Rule 3.18A2, illegal conduct and codes compliance, and again, all from the same incident on January 27, 2023.
Counsel?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Harry Previs on behalf of the licensees. With me is Charles Bass and Jordan Bass, who's licensee.
And Mr. Previous, would you mind speaking into the microphone just a little bit better?
I apologize.
You might want to pull that up on the, okay. Going to be admission or denial?
Denial.
All right, let's get everybody sworn then.
You raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Chief, are you going to be presenting?
Well, I'm going to defer to the officers first that responded to the scene. I did have a follow-up interview with the manager that I can add if there's anything different.
Okay. So which officer? If you'd identify yourself for the record, please.
Officer Menachem Rosenblum.
You might have to give a spelling. Do you got his name?
Good. It's in, yes, it is in here. I'm good.
Okay.
Should I just explain what happened that night?
Yes, please.
So on January 27th, I responded to the Hustler Club for a reported shooting. Upon arrival, we found the victim, Mr. D'Angelo Moore, who was later identified as an employee of the Hustler Club, on the 3rd floor. I helped cut off his clothing. We found he was shot in the leg. We put on a tourniquet. We found a empty holster attached to Mr. Moore's leg. Mr. Moore just explained that he had been shot by an unidentified suspect. Then he was brought to Johns Hopkins Hospital by medics. On scene, I identified more witnesses. Mr. Michael Williams, who was an employee of the business, of the Hustler Club, he said he heard the gunshot. He saw the suspect run down the stairs, and some of his coworkers, including Mr. Vincent Mims, and others chased after the suspect. Mr. Williams said that he observed Mr. Mims and the other employees tackle the suspect, wrestle a gun from the suspect, and then the suspect eventually left out the side entrance, the VIP entrance on Custom House, to the street. Mr. Vincent Mims and another employee of the Hustler Club, Mr. Darius Powell, said they had gone upstairs because a bottle girl or one of the bartenders, Miss Tyra Stanton, had went into one of the VIP rooms with the suspect, or with a patron, and they had approached the patron, later the suspect, and asked him to pay for the room because it was a VIP room, and he refused. Mr. Mims said he was talking to Miss Stanton, the bottle girl, and then he asked Mr. Moore, I think that's Mr. D'Angelo Moore, and another employee to escort the suspect out of the room. He then said he heard scuffling, he heard a gunshot, he saw the suspect run down the stairs, he chased after him, he was trying to hold him, and the suspect eventually got away. When asked about what happened to the firearm, he denied knowing what happened to the firearm. The I spoke to, and also Mr. Darius Powell, who's also involved, said basically the same things, Mr. Mims. The bartender, or the bottle girl, Miss Tyra Stanton, she said she was in the VIP room with the suspect. She was supposed to give some type of lap dance or something, and she was actually raped in that room. She said then Mr. Mims and another employee had come in to, help her or save her, and then she heard the gunshot. That was it.
You have questions for the officer?
Yes. Officer, is it pronounced Menachem?
You can call me Officer Rosenblum if that's easier.
Rosenblum? I'm sorry. Officer Rosenblum, at what time did you guys respond to the scene at the Hustler Club?
In my report, it says about 1:34.
1:34. And approximately what time did the shooting occur?
I would assume it's a few minutes earlier.
Okay. So the Baltimore police responded in a few minutes. Did you come from headquarters?
No, I was coming from North Avenue, from where I was posted.
Okay. And upon arrival, what did you see at the scene?
So initially we saw on the third floor, I saw the victim lying down with people around him, and there were already some other officers there, and we were helping, cut off the clothing, put on a tourniquet.
Sorry, did you ever recover the gun?
No, it was mysteriously missing.
And you mentioned a holster on the victim's body. Did you take inventory of the holster, or?
I don't know if I personally recovered it. I think I took it off his body when I was cutting. It was in a thigh hole, so it went inside of his pants. You couldn't really see it from outside. I was cutting off his pants, and then that's where I saw the holster. And I think another officer did recover it and submit it as evidence.
What did this? You said it was inside his pants. What kind of holster was it? Was it?
I mean, what was it made out of? Or what?
Yeah, I mean, what did it? How was it inside his pants?
So there's
How was he wearing
there's
it?
certain type of deep concealment holsters. They go around someone's inside the pants, but around the thigh.
Okay.
So you couldn't see it from outside.
And the victim went to the hospital. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
And there was an inventory report at the hospital.
Yeah, not done by me, but yes.
Okay. And they, in the inventory report, there was no holster.
I think it was recovered from the scene. I think it was left on the scene. We left it on the crime scene. We didn't bring it along with Mr. Moore to the hospital. We left it there, and then the crime scene tech, I'm assuming, would be the person who recovered it.
Okay. Who has possession of the holster then?
Currently, right now, it'd be in evidence control unit.
Are you sure that it's there? Have
I
you
haven't-
verified that?
Is there relevance to the victim's holster? I'm not following.
Well, the victim is an employee of
Right.
the club, so it goes to the matter of the licensee's liability on.
You'll have to explain, but okay, whatever you say.
So there's where is the holster currently?
So to the best of my knowledge, I haven't seen it personally in the evidence control unit. It would have been recovered by the crime scene tech, and then it would have been submitted as evidence, and it's in one of the evidence control lockers or warehouses.
Okay. And were the employees and managers, owners of the club, were they compliant with you?
They answered my questions. At points, some of them didn't seem to be telling the truth or seemed to be telling different stories, but they were compliant.
Did you speak to either of these two gentlemen?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
No. Okay. But generally everyone was cooperating. Would you say that?
They were. Two of the employees didn't seem to be telling the whole truth. I was trying to pry about what happened to this firearm that was used, and they seemed to be very evasive with their answering. But I don't know if that's not compliant, but we weren't being very upfront about what happened.
Did the managers of the club or owners, did they give you video surveillance at that point?
That was recovered by another officer, not by me, or
But-
another detective.
But it was recovered by Baltimore
To the
Police?
to the best of my knowledge, yes, it was.
Okay.
Anything further with the officer?
No further.
Officer, do you have something to add? Your name, please?
Officer Walker,
Good morning.
you can go ahead.
What do you want to add, sir?
Say again.
What would you like to add to his testimony?
I was the responding officer
Mhm.
that who was first on scene.
Okay.
On the 27th of January, 2023, at approximately 01:3600 hours, I, along with Officer Sekou Thomas, responded to 403 East Baltimore Street at the Hustler Club for a shooting report. Upon arrival, I made my way up to the second floor of the Hustler Club, where we located a male victim with a single gunshot wound to his right leg. The victim garment was cut off, and a tourniquet was applied to the wounded leg. The victim was identified as D'Angelo Cortel Moore. A medic was requested via KGA and was dispatched to the scene. Mr. Moore was taken to John Hopkins by Medic 7 in stable condition. Crime Lab Tech responded to the location to process the scene. One suspected 9mm shell casing was recovered from the scene, which was submitted to ECU by Tech Davis. Regarding this incident, District Detective DDU Puello and Sergeant Faison interviewed one of the club workers, Vince Mims, who stated that his co-worker, Trace Staton, who works as a waitress for the club, just before the shooting incident, was inside the VIP room dancing with one of the customers. Mr. Mims stated that he asked the customer what was he doing inside the room, and he advised him of the fee for the room. Additionally, Mr. Mims noted that the customer said that he was not going to pay for the room. Mr. Mims reported that he told the customer that he would have to leave if he was not paying for the service. Mr. Mims said that while talking to Tyra inside the VIP room, he heard a loud bang. He then went outside to see what it was. He saw D'Angelo on the ground. Mr. Mims stated that he saw the suspect running down the stairs, and he then chased after him, tackling him to the ground. Mr. Mims said another co-worker named Michael Williams assisted him while wrestling the suspect to the floor. Mr. Mims advised that the suspect dropped the gun and ran down the steps. Mr. Mims stated that he went to try to retrieve the weapon. When he went to try to retrieve the weapon, it was gone. Mr. Mims advised that he needed to find out who had taken the gun and stated that when the suspect ran, he dropped the gun. During this incident, Mr. Mims noted that the suspect bit him on his elbow. Mr. Mims was offered medical treatment, which he declined. Crime Lab Tech Davis did a swap of Mr. Mims' elbow for potential DNA evidence. Mr. Mims advised that the suspect was sitting at the bar at approximately 23:30 hours before the incident happened. There was a slightly cream color marijuana wrapper containing suspected marijuana that was left on the spot where the suspect sat just before the incident. In reference to this incident, a small bag of suspected marijuana was found in Mr. D'Angelo's pocket, and same was submitted to ECU as evidence.
I have two quick questions. Was anybody ever apprehended?
No.
And did Mr. Moore recover,
What? Say it again?
the victim?
Victim?
Yes, did he recover?
I don't know.
Yes, he recovered.
Okay. Do you have questions for the officer?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I see Officer Walker, I see in your report, you have a 9mm shell casing, correct? And then you have the packets of marijuana in the inventory. Did you take this inventory?
Yeah, I submitted the marijuana. As far as the shell casing, I believe that was submitted by one of the crime lab techs.
Okay, and your report, there's no holster. Was there a holster on the scene, and why wasn't it in this report?
I didn't see it, but I was told by other officers that he did have a holster. I wasn't dealing with the victim.
Who are you dealing with?
I was dealing with the crime scene. I was primary.
Okay. And did you speak to anyone on the scene?
Yeah, I did speak to Police Master, I believe was him. But okay, well, it's not him. It's one of the managers of the club.
Sure, Charles Bass.
You don't recall,
I think they call him Mike.
but it's not one of these gentlemen.
Nah, it's probably not
Okay.
him. then.
All right. Anything else?
Were the employees and managers cooperative with the investigation?
Yeah, they was telling stories that happened, but some of it didn't really match up, like where the gun went and how the gun disappeared. It didn't make sense.
Okay. And did you ever, you never recovered the gun? You don't know where it is?
No, we don't know where the gun is up to this day.
And do you know who the suspect is?
No, we don't know
Never
who the
found him?
suspect is.
And the victim, was the victim a patron or an employee of the Hustler Club?
As far as I know, he's an employee.
Okay. No further
All
questions.
right. Chief, do you have something to add?
A couple small points. Sir, I did a follow-up investigation the day after with actually one of BPD's detectives. They called. I went down with them. When I spoke with Mr. Mims while I was at the Hustler Club, first I asked for where the video footage for that floor was, outside that location where the shooting. He stated to me that that camera was not working. Last year, approximately 12 months prior to this incident, they had another shooting and the same camera, again, wasn't working. And I asked why it wasn't fixed. He said that the system was older and that they were attempting to fix that. Furthermore, when I asked Mr. Mims what happened, the officer's stories or exactly what he told me about the female in the room, I did ask him if he had security on site that night. He said he did. I asked why the bar back would have gone upstairs to escort the gentleman out. He didn't have an answer for that. Then when he told me that he wrestled the suspect at the back bar on the lower floor and was able to take the weapon away from him, however, he got away, I asked him how the gun would have went from the back bar through the door down the stairwell, which he then said that they didn't recover the gun from the back bar. They recovered it from the stairwell, and that's how the gun fell down. I asked him if he saw anybody else go down the steps after the victim left and before he went to go check for the gun, and he said no. So that's all I have to add on our follow-up.
Was Mr. Mims cooperative with you?
Mr. Mims was very cooperative with me. His story didn't make any sense. But he was very cooperative as far as speaking to me.
Okay, thanks. Do you have anything you want to add? Testimony?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Let's get moving.
Calling Charles Bass.
Okay. Mr. Bass, you've been sworn.
Yes, I have.
Yes,
Just step up to the mic, please.
Mr. Bass, what's your relation to the club?
I'm one of the partners.
And were you at the club on the night in question?
Yes,
Where were you in the club?
second floor office.
Okay. And Did you witness anything that happened on this night?
No, I did not.
And as a owner of the club, did you all hire security?
Yes, we did.
And who do you use for your security?
Top Dog Protective Services.
And how long have you been using Top Dog?
Approximately 8 months.
Okay.
It might be longer.
And they're insured.
They are.
They're a legitimate security company.
That is correct.
I'd like to admit Exhibit 1,
Which is what?
the security company business card,
Okay, it'll be received.
and also Exhibit 2, liability insurance for the security company.
Okay, it'll be received.
And the security company, what's the protocol with letting someone in or out of the club?
As far as general protocol is, security is stationed at the front door, and they are required to either pat down or wand all personnel coming in through that front door.
And how long was this the practice before this incident?
This actually goes back to the year prior. We had been using third-party security since November of 2021.
And why'd you make that switch?
At that time, the Senate was debating whether or not to include a third-party security measure, and we were cooperating with Senate at that time, and we had already had third-party security in place, and then they eventually passed the bill which required security at the front door to be open past 10 p.m.
And was this to comply with the liquor board rules and state law?
Yes.
But on the night in question, who was at the club? Approximately how many patrons were there?
When I ran the report from 7:30 to approximately 1:30 a.m., we had a total of 13 patrons.
And how many employees?
I would have to count that.
What?
I have the audit here. $16 employees.
16 employees. Move to admit Exhibit 3.
Okay. I'll receive it. The question I have is, at 1:30 in the morning, how many people were there?
Approximately 5 patrons.
Okay. And how many employees?
Approximately 16.
Okay.
And do you have any idea how this gun could have gotten onto the premises?
No.
Is it your practice to wand everyone who comes on the premises,
That is correct.
both patrons and employees?
Employees, if they come through the front door, they are wanded. We had an eye in the sky, which is a person who sits in the camera room watching all the cameras. And if he knows an employee, he has the ability to let them in the custom house entrance through an electronic buzzer, an electronic lock.
Okay. So, so standard practice is to wand every single person that comes through the door.
That is correct.
And did you reach out to the security company after the incident?
Yes, we did.
And did they have any comment on what happened?
No, but we did take an incident report that night from the security personnel.
Okay. And were you cooperative with all the investigators, whether it be a cop or Mr. Chris Mouse?
Yes.
Did you speak to them?
The only person I spoke with immediately was this gentleman to my left from the liquor board. He was upstairs in the eye in the sky with me and the other detectives from Baltimore PD backing up the video footage.
That night or the next day?
No, that night. That night and the following night. I was on premises in the eye in the sky. I did speak to a female detective. I do not recall her name because they had asked me about what position Mr. Moore is, and I showed them. I went to the point of sale system, showed how he's clocked in as a barback. He was hired as a barback. There was some question whether or not he was security or a barback.
Okay.
And to your knowledge, with the victim of the shooting, was it a employee or a patron?
It was an employee.
Okay. And is the club still in operation, normal hours?
No, it's not.
And since when did you guys cease operations?
March 4th,
Okay. So you've been shut down for approximately 2 months?
approximately.
Okay. No further questions.
You plan to open?
To be blunt, we have to see how everything goes, but we relieved everybody after everything that went on. We decided to release everybody involved.
So you don't have any employees anymore?
We have no employees at this time.
Okay. Commissioners, have any questions for this?
I have lots of questions, but I don't think in the interest of time, it makes any sense to
Okay.
ask.
Did you want to call the other witness or not?
No,
Okay.
just Charles.
Do you want to be heard?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The licensees have a clean record dating back to 2017 or 18.
That's what our records show, but the chief said there was a shooting there last year.
Correct, sir. There was a shooting there last year, and
We didn't violate?
we didn't violate them when BPD's case had remained open for so long that we didn't get the report within that first year.
Okay. All right. But you're right, that this is the first offense that we have.
Yes. And considering that, we're asking for leniency. The licensees did everything in their power to cooperate with the security measures. They hired a third party. They have a security plan. They filled all of that out around July of last year. And they're planning to cease operation, and a transfer is currently in the works.
Okay.
They're finding.
Do commissioners have any questions now?
No questions.
Well, you know, it strikes me, I have lots of questions, but really, you had an employee who seemingly snuck in with a gun, which I think exposes your security plan, and I'm troubled about whether you updated any security plan between the date of the incident and when you ceased on March the 4th, recognizing it's only 5 weeks. I'm really troubled by this, and I think regardless of what we do, any opportunity for you to open should be conditioned upon a brand-new security plan approved by both the police department and the Liquor Commission. And to the chief's point, I think that you need to figure out what's going on with that camera. That's troubling. It hasn't been fixed. So I have lots of concerns about this case, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right, well, let's move to disposition. So on the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received today, I find a violation of Rule 3.12, General Welfare on January 27, 2023, a violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05, Small A, on January 27, 2023, and a violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.18, Small A, 2, on January 27, 2023. I agree with Commissioner Greenfield that the security plan, whatever was in place, wasn't adequate on this occasion, and that if you were to open, that you would not be, we would revoke the authorization to remain open until 2 a.m. You'd have to put a new security plan in place before that, so you'd be limited to a 10 p.m. closing. But my question is, Are you going to open? It sounds like no.
We're looking to transfer the license.
All right. So the next time we see this license, it will be on a request for a transfer. Is that correct?
Yes.
Most likely, yes.
And you're committed to remaining closed until that time?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, with all that understood, and because this is the first time we have violations, so I'd impose nominal fines of $250 as to each of these violations, and give you 30 days to pay that. I'd revoke the current authorization to remain open past the 10 p.m., and I would hold you to the commitment to remain closed until we have a transfer approved.
Okay, thank you.
Based upon the charging document, the testimony, I too find a violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare, on January 27, 2023. I find a violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05A on January 27, 2023. Find a violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.18A2 on January 27, 2023. I too vote to close this license, and to the degree we can, Mr. Belendi, I know there might be some question about the lingo being used, but certainly revoke any authority past 10 p.m. Would only allow this licensee to reopen, conditioned on a new security plan approved by the police department and the Baltimore Liquor License Commissioners, as well as addressing the lack of camera usage or camera operations.
You concur with the fines?
I concur, yes, I concur with a fine of $250 for each violation.
Yes, based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also agree with the chair's facts and findings. Violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.18A2, illegal conduct and code compliance, with a fine of $250. Violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05A, incorporation of liquor license rules and regulations to the applicable license on January 27, 2023, with a fine of $250. And also violation of Rule 3.12, general welfare, January 27, 2023, with a fine of $250. And also regards to remaining closed till the transfer, and if I understood or heard the chair correctly, it would be 10 p.m. if they were to open up, if I'm correct,
Until there's a new security plan approved.
to a security plan.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Russell?
Like exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department Report, Officer Rosenbaum, Walker, and Thomas. Licensee Exhibit 1, Security Company Business Card, 2, Workers' Comp Insurance Contract, and 3, Employee List.
Thank you, officers, and I hope you were able to find somebody who is interested in the license, okay? Thanks.
That concludes this matter before the board. Just as a point of clarity, the revocation of the 2 a.m. to 10 p.m. goes on the liquor license, and by law, an adult entertainment may not operate after the time that the alcohol beverages license goes, so it does impact both commissioners, in case you had any questions about that.
That's fine, thank you.
And may we move forward to the next matter?
Please.
Oh, and licensee will receive instructions from this agency on how to pay any fines that were imposed today and any fees that are attendant with it. Inspectors will go and take actions accordingly. Item number 1 on the normal docket, moving on, is Epic Lounge Bar Cut Rate LLC, trading as Epic Lounge Bar and Cut Rate. Premises are located at 2711 East Fayette Street, holders of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and this is a request for a 180-day hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-2202, and a request to reopen under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-2203, wherein a licensed premises has been closed for at least 3 consecutive months.
Good morning. Your name, ma'am?
Good morning, Erica Robinson.
Good morning, Ms. Robinson. Would you raise your right hand, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. You wrote to us on March 10th requesting a hardship extension for 180 days. Can you tell us what's going on?
We're still in the process of renovating with the holidays and things coming up. So I spoke with the contractor. They said up to like 3 more months, but he said he's going to try before that.
This is from a fire?
Yes.
And when did that occur?
October 6th, 2022.
Okay. And you say you're still in the process. You're going to reopen once?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis then of your letter to the board of March 10 requesting the extension, your testimony this morning, I would vote to approve a 180-day hardship extension and request to reopen.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Based upon the letter of March 10th, 2023, I too would grant the request for a hardship extension and a request to reopen.
Yes, based on testimony, materials, a letter from the owner, I also vote to approve the request for a hardship extension of 180 days and request to reopen.
Good luck, Ms. Robinson.
Good luck.
Thank you. Have a good one.
No exhibits for the record.
That concludes this matter before the board. Licensee has been granted a hardship extension which cannot exceed 360 days by law from the date of original closure. Shall I move forward, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Item number 2 on the regular items, Bernology Sangria Wine Company, LLC, trading as trade name pending. Proposed premises are located at 1117 West 36th Street. This is an application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1603C1 double little I, requiring $200,000 in capital investment in restaurant fixtures and facilities and a seating capacity for a minimum of 75 people. Applicants requesting live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premises catering.
Good morning, Your Honor. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the applicant, LaToya Johnson.
Good morning. Ms. Johnson, will you raise your right hand, please?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I read about this in the paper yesterday, and I had a sense of deja vu.
Didn't we all? I'm going to need a sangria after today. So
Well, you were on the other side of
we
it,
have a
as I
meeting
read.
upstairs at 3 o'clock on the other one. So I'll make sure I cover some important points about the restaurant operation here.
Well, tell us about this one.
I certainly will. Ms. Johnson's a lifelong resident of Baltimore City. I think she filled out her form wrong. She thought you were asking how long she lived on Guilford. She's been a lifelong resident here. She has 12 years experience serving alcohol. She is applying for the first floor, and of course this place is also an address that had some problems recently. And she met with Councilwoman Ramos in the community and generally received excellent feedback. People are excited about it. Again, just saying that I just got into this case yesterday, so I had some difficulty finding out what evidence had been previously submitted and what had not. I do have a menu and I have a valuation from Jonathan Melnick Auctioneers I'd like to provide you at this time
That's
with
fine.
your approval. Thank you. The first one will be the, first exhibit will be the Melnick appraisal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, you'll see therein $787,900 in improvements. So I've made it very clear, and Ms. Johnson is fully aware of the need for a full-time kitchen. She has hired a chef. She intends to serve small plates from different cultures. It's hard to pin down. I'm about to show you the menu, but it's a variety of international dishes, seafood dishes, and including soul food dishes. She's going to have a Sunday brunch that will feature a lot of comfort foods and soul food. She's also the 13.5 Wine Bar, was kind of famous on the Avenue for their charcuterie board, and by popular demand, she's retaining the charcuterie board there. The live entertainment in question, live entertainment is already permitted there, will be folk and jazz, and it's very and drag show brunches. She's made it very clear to me that there's not going to be a DJ there every week, that a DJ will be occasional, that this is food centric with the entertainment. I'm going to go ahead and supply to you.
Thank you.
your menu.
These will be received.
Thank you.
Ms. Johnson once again understands the rules, 4.20B, requiring an operational kitchen at all times, requiring having the food in your fridge that is on your menu so you can prepare those items. She is sort of an expert mixologist. She makes her own sangria that's been wildly popular at different private events throughout the area. That'll be sort of the bulk of the cocktails, the red, white, and bourbon mangria, as well as craft beers and cocktails. So I don't know if there's any letters of support in the file. I do know that she had extensive outreach to the community, and she's excited about being part of the avenue, the historic avenue.
Does this have a seating capacity requirement?
It does, and she has capacity, I believe, for 85 persons, and that should have been
75 seat. Is that what?
Minimum, yeah, I think capacity is over 75.
Yeah. Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the application and the extensive proffer from council as well as the exhibits received, I vote to approve this application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license with live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premises catering.
Based upon the application, the proffer and exhibits, I too would approve this application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license with live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premise catering.
Yeah, based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also vote to approve the application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license with live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premise catering.
Would you give that to Ms. Russell?
Ms.
Ms. Russell,
Russell.
here's the exhibit.
Medical exhibits for the record. Applicant Exhibit 1, appraisal Exhibit 2, menu.
Thank you. Good luck, Ms. Johnson. I hope it
Good
goes
luck.
well.
Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council has received instructions on what documents to submit in order to legally obtain the new Class B license that is approved preliminarily by the board today. Shall I move forward, Mr. Chair?
Please.
Item number 3 on the regular docket, Medium Rare Baltimore LLC, trading as Medium Rare. Proposed premises are located at 711 West 40th Street, Suite 100. This is an application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1603C1 little double I, requiring $200,000 in capital investment in restaurant fixtures and facilities and a seating capacity for a minimum of 75 people, and requesting outdoor table service.
Morning, gentlemen. Your names, please?
Hi, good morning. My name is Mark Bucher, B-U-C-H-E-R. I'm one of the co-owners of Medium Rare.
And
I'm James Glick, G-L-I-C-K.
morning. Would you raise your right hands, please?
Sure. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes.
Do one of you want to tell us about this?
Sure. Medium Rare has been a successfully operating restaurant in Washington, D.C. for over 12 years. We've got one in Washington, D.C., one in Arlington, Virginia, one in Bethesda, Maryland. This will be our second Maryland location. We spent 3 years scouting Baltimore for the right spot for us. We're excited to be joining the Baltimore restaurant community. I've been operating restaurants for the last 25 years in the D.C. metro area. We're excited. We've met with 2 neighborhood groups that are in full support of what we're doing. Along with our restaurant, we're bringing our nonprofit work as well, which I think Leanne sent as well up in our files. So we're excited to be there.
I see your seating chart. Did you give us something on the amount of improvement?
Should be. Our construction.
Oh, wait a minute here. Okay.
Our budget is $1.6 million.
Okay.
For the restaurant, of which $600,000 is just equipment.
Okay. And the seating capacity exceeds 75?
At least, yes.
Okay. And I'm sorry, is this a steak restaurant?
Yeah, steak frite. It's the only thing we serve. Our menu is very simple. It's steak and fries. There are 4 red wines, 4 white wines, some cocktails, but we're all about simplicity. And then we do brunch on the weekends as well.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
Any issues at your other establishments? Any liquor issues?
No, there was one. We had an underage violation in our Bethesda restaurant during COVID, which we dealt with and took care of. But that's it. We scan. As a matter of principle, we scan every ID that comes in.
Great. Thank you.
You 2 gentlemen partners in each of these operations?
He'll be our partner in Baltimore.
Oh, in Baltimore. Okay. And what is your experience, Mr.
Oh, my goodness. I've been on Anula 2 Enterprises. I held a license there for 5 years. I've been in the restaurant business here in Baltimore about 20. Currently working at the Prime Rib, I've worked at Cosima, the Quintessential Gentleman. I have an extensive background here in town.
Okay. Commissioners have anything? All right. Thank you, gentlemen. On the basis of the materials contained in the application, your testimony this morning, and the exhibits received, I would vote to approve this application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license with outdoor table service.
Based upon the application and the testimony, I too would approve this application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license with outdoor table service.
Yes, based on the testimony and materials provided today, I vote to approve the application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license, and also the request for outdoor table service.
No exhibits for the record.
All right, good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Applicants are receiving instructions on how to legally, or how to submit the required documents to legally receive the new Class B license the board preliminarily approved today. Shall we move forward, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Item number 4 on the regular docket, 100 Hopkins Place Entertainment LLC, trading as Days Inn, Baltimore, Inner Harbor. Premises are located at 100 Hopkins Place. This is an application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor hotel motel license under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-903 C12. Ooh, that sounds wrong. C121 I, which allows the board to issue a license for use by a hotel or motel that has 1, a dining room with facilities for preparing and serving regular meals for at least 125 individuals at one seating, 2, at least 100 rooms for the accommodation of the public, and 3, a minimum capital investment of $500,000. The applicants are also requesting live entertainment and outdoor table service.
Morning.
Good morning, Kelsey Longacre, Gordon Feinblatt. On behalf of the applicants, I have with me Mr. Richard Wall and Gary Paretsky, Esquire, as the applicants.
You can ask them to testify?
No, not unless the board wants to hear anything
Well, let's
from
hear
them.
from you first. Is it Wallmaker? Is that what your name is, ma'am?
Longacre.
Longacre.
A lot of dirt.
I didn't hear you well.
That's
but
okay.
I think it's these masks, but
Well, a lot of people hear lawmaker when they hear lawyer too, so it's okay. 100 Hopkins Place Entertainment LLC is, as I said, co-owned by Mr. Gary Paretsky, and 100 Hopkins Place LLC, which Richard Wall is the manager and owner of. Mr. Paretsky and Mr. Wall are here today as applicants for this entity. They are both the 100 Hopkins Place Entertainment and 100 Hopkins Place LLC are affiliated with REMA Management, which is a hotel investment group owned by Mr. Wall. The proposed license location is a 239-room full-service hotel with approximately 98,050 square feet. There's a dining room that seats 130. The board members may recall that this location previously hosted opening day festivities for fans of the Orioles, a tradition which the new owners hope to keep alive. Mr. Wall's company bought the hotel at auction in 2021. The prior owners did have a license at this location, but we were unable to obtain their cooperation in getting the license transferred in a timely manner. As such, this is an application for a new license with entertainment. The initial purchase price for the hotel was approximately $12 million, and it's currently undergoing renovation with costs slated to be $4.3 million in renovations. The hotel will be converted from a Days Inn to a DASKK hotel and Clarion Point dual-branded hotel. Clarion Point's a more modern mid-scale hotel, and the DASKK is a higher-end boutique. There will be a coffee and an internet cafe called Beans and Bites. The renovation includes updating fixtures and furniture, and while this is considered a full renovation, the public will feel like it's an entirely new hotel. The underlying floor plan is going to remain the same as what it was previously. Mr. Wall is currently on licenses for other hotels in Florida, Virginia, and Tennessee, where there have been no violations, and he has no criminal record. Mr. Paretsky is the resident agent who resides in Baltimore City. He is the 10% owner of the entity that we propose as the licensee. He also has no criminal record, but he's never been on a liquor license before. Both have been through the alcohol awareness training. We're currently operating without a license, but there's been significant interest from guests and patrons regarding the availability of alcohol at this location. The hotel is currently losing out on some events and conferences because they do not have a license at the moment.
Who's going to manage the operation?
My company.
Okay, so there'll be a manager on.
Do we need to have him sworn in?
And also your name.
Richard Wall.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Wall, you're going to have a restaurant manager or someone there?
Yes, we'll have a full-time restaurant manager. My president of my company has 25-plus years in the business. He's owned multiple restaurants in the past.
And the people that handle the alcohol will all be alcohol certified?
They already have been, yes.
Okay, all right. Did I cut you off?
No? No.
Commissioners have questions?
No question.
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the application, the proffer from council, and testimony received, I vote to approve this application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor hotel motel license with live entertainment and outdoor table service.
Based upon the application, the proffer and testimony, I too would approve this application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor hotel motel license with live entertainment and outdoor table service.
Yes, based on the testimony materials provided today, I vote to approve the application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor hotel motel license and the request for live entertainment and outdoor table service.
No exhibits for the record.
All right, thank you. Good luck, gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Good luck to you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council's received instructions on how to legally submit the required documents in order to have the new license the board preliminarily approved issued today.
Next case, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Item number 5 on the regular docket. ABW Incorporated, trading as Mimi's Discount Liquors. Premises are located at 260709 Greenmount Avenue. Holders of a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, and this is an application to transfer ownership thereof.
Thank you.
Good morning. You want to identify yourself for the record?
John Shin on behalf of the applicants.
Good morning. So you have handed us a packet. You want to tell us about this?
Yes, basically it's a packet that we've already submitted before, but the only supplement in there is the agreement with Hardwood Community Association, which we have actually had a chance to sign outside while we were waiting.
Oh, good. And is your client willing to make this a part of the license?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
Chairman.
All right, well, tell us about the rest of it.
Okay, good morning. First of all, I'm John Shin on behalf of Myung-Han Kim and Brenda Smith, the applicants who seek the board's consideration for a Class A beer, wine, and liquor transfer of the license. With the board's permission, I would like to proffer testimony for the case.
You may.
We're here today requesting approval for the transfer of ownership of the Class A beer, wine, and liquor license currently located at 2607-9 Greenmount Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, for a liquor and grocery store called Mimi's Discount Liquors to the individual licensees. Through the information packet and our testimony today, I believe the board will find that granting our request will accommodate a public need, have no negative effect on other businesses in the area, have no negative effect on the neighborhood, and that both Mr. Kim and Ms. Smith are fit and proper persons to have the privilege of holding this license. Mr. Kim has experience in having worked at a local liquor store for a few years and understands the importance of responsible alcohol service. Having invested a lot of money in purchasing the business, Mr. Kim is motivated to upholding the highest standards of safety and compliance. He's also prepared to take ultimate responsibility for all things alcohol related. Ms. Brenda Smith has been a longtime resident of Baltimore City, having lived on Reisterstown Road for over 50 years. She's a responsible citizen, having worked in the field of coaching children and supporting people with developmental disabilities, and is very high into community involvement. She's only 4 miles away from the store in case of non-store hour emergencies, and also her son is an active duty police officer in the area.
Is this in the Waverly area? Or below that?
It's a little below that, I believe. Mimi's Liquors will generally be operating during the times that the liquor license allows. Both Mr. Kim and others working at the store are trained to ID everyone who even remotely looks 21. We've also submitted a letter of support, as you can see, the MOU, from the Hardwood Community Association in the file that demonstrates that there is a public need and desire for the license. Again, this is not a new license. The business has been in operation that already underwent a transfer of license in 2013 that did not cause any disturbance or adverse effect on the community, residents, or any businesses. This is not a new license, so this will not impact existing licenses in the area. And not being a new license, it's not going to cause any commonality in liquor stores. Again, the Harwood Community Association, the president of which is here today, Michael, supports this application as evidenced by this MOU, and granting the transfer of license will not negatively impact the general health, safety, or welfare of the community. And for those reasons, we respectfully request the board to approve the application.
Commissioners have questions?
No question.
No questions.
So there was one sale to minor a couple of years ago, so they need to be careful about
Yeah,
that.
yes, they're aware of that.
Okay. All right, thank you then. On the basis of the materials contained in the application and the extensive proffer from council, as well as the exhibits received, including this memorandum of understanding agreement between the licensees and Harwood Community Association, I'd vote to approve the application to transfer ownership of this Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, subject to the terms of the agreement to the extent they're enforceable by law.
Based upon the application and the proffer, I too would approve the actual application to transfer ownership, subject to the terms of the MOU to the extent they're enforceable by law.
Yes, based on testimony and materials provided today, I also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership of an A beer, wine, and liquor license subject to the MOU.
Thank you.
Ms. Russell?
Licensee Exhibit Number 1, MOU between applicants and Harwood Community Association.
Thank you. Good luck, sir.
Good luck.
That concludes this matter before the board.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Council's received the instructions on how to legally complete the transfer of ownership that the board preliminarily approved today. Shall I move forward, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Item number 6 on today's regular docket has been postponed and will be rescheduled for a future hearing of the board, bringing us to item number 7 on the regular docket. The Urban Oyster LLC, trading as the Urban Oyster. Premises are located at 916 West 36th Street. This is an application to transfer ownership from a contract purchaser, a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, requesting outdoor table service and off-premises catering.
Good morning, Your Honor, Commissioners. How are you? Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the applicant.
Good morning. You want to proffer this?
I do. I want to say this is an historic day for the iconic Avenue in Hamden. Not one, but two women of color here today opening businesses on the Avenue with liquor licenses. So it's pretty exciting. You may remember this applicant, Jasmine Norton. She previously was licensed in Federal Hill for the Urban Oyster, which had some problems during COVID, as many businesses did. She has come from and gone back to food trucks. She has an excellent resume on creating fantastic food here in the Baltimore, Washington area. She has settled at 916 West 36th Street, formerly Asian Taste Restaurant. Miss Norton is already alcohol certified. She's already run a business. She never had any violations whatsoever during her tenure down in Federal Hill. She's a daughter of Baltimore, born and raised, and is very active in her community. And you know they're active in their community when one of your character witnesses is the 10th District City Council person. So I just want to recognize the former 10th District City Councilman. She understands what she needs to do. She runs a serious restaurant, elevated fare, and some of Maryland's classics. She'll have craft beers and craft cocktails, and she's excited about being a part of this neighborhood of Hamden.
Can we swear her in for just a second? Do you mind raising your right hand, ma'am?
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
My question has nothing to do with your application. I want to know what it's like to run a food truck.
A lot more work than your standard restaurant.
I see so many of them now, so.
I actually don't have a food truck, which makes it even harder. So we literally take a cargo van and unpack it with the equipment that we need, everywhere we go, and pack it right back up. So it'd be like
oysters and all of that?
Grilled oysters, yes. That's what we specialize in. I actually own the first black female-owned oyster bar in the country.
Wow. So you decide having a standard place is better than mobile place, huh?
Yeah, I mean, with being outdoors, it comes with a lot of seasonality. So, when the fall and winter months come, we kind of see a down peak in our sales. So to be able to offer our cuisine throughout the year would be
I'm sure not only beneficial to us, but a lot of our following.
One last question about the trucks.
Sure.
How did they find the same parking space all the time?
I couldn't answer that. I've never had a food truck. We literally travel to every destination that we go to and unpack the van. So
Okay.
I couldn't tell you the remedy or trick to that.
They seem to do really well around the colleges and universities these days as well. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
And breweries, they do very well out in front of breweries.
Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the application, the proffer from council and testimony received, I vote to approve this application to transfer ownership from a contract purchaser of this Class B beer, wine, and liquor license with outdoor table service and off-premises catering.
Based upon the proffer, the testimony, and the contents of the application, I approve the application to transfer ownership from a contract purchaser with outdoor table service and off-premise catering.
It's based on the testimony materials provided today. I also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership from a contract purchaser with outdoor table service and off-premise catering.
Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
All right, thank you. Good luck, Ms. Norton.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council's received instructions on how to legally complete the transfer that the board preliminarily approved today. Shall I move forward, Mr. Chair?
Please.
Item number 8 on the regular items, 1613 Grocery LLC, trading as trade name pending. Premises are located at 1209 West North Avenue. This is an amended application to transfer ownership of a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license and requesting delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Good morning, Commissioners. Abraham Hurd on behalf of Stephen Ofori at 1613 West North Avenue is his residence. The location is 1209 West North Avenue.
Do you want to proffer for us?
Yes, I can. This is a Class A license. It's been operating for some time. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that area. It's next to the Burger King on North Avenue, if that makes any sense.
I used to actually work at 1333 West North Avenue, but that was 50 years ago.
I think it's changed a little since then.
It was not that great back in those days, but
Mr. Ofori lives in the city. He's got 2 years' experience working at a bar. The current owner and operator is going to be helping him with some of the shifts between the difference of a bar and, in this case, an A license. He looks forward to taking over. He's also purchasing the building, and he understands that he has to get all of his inventory from wholesalers, cannot sell to minors, must obey the hours restrictions that the liquor board sets, and be a good citizen. He's planning to ingratiate himself with the community group in the next few weeks and go from there.
and it's amended. Why? The
I
application.
think that there was a transaction that was contemplated, and that person backed out.
So
is my
the
understanding.
time you had to start the time running again.
Well, I just think there was a different purchaser, and they didn't want to go forward, and Mr. Ofori stepped in, and that's where we're
I
at
see.
today.
Okay. There were some sales to minors back in '04 and in '18, so he needs to be mindful of that.
Absolutely.
Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application and the proffer from council, vote to approve the amended application to transfer ownership of this Class A beer, wine, and liquor license with delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Based upon the contents of the application and the proffer, I vote to approve this amended application to transfer ownership with delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Yes, based on testimony, materials, a letter from the attorney. I also vote to approve the amended application to transfer ownership with the request of delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Ofori. Good luck to you.
Thank you,
Good luck.
Commissioners.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council is receiving instructions on how to legally complete the transfer of ownership that was preliminarily approved by the board this morning. Shall I move forward, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Item number 9 on the regular docket. Steel Horse 349 LLC, trading as trade name pending. Premises are located at 349 to 51 South Calhoun Street. This is a Class D beer and light wine license and an application to transfer ownership thereof.
Abraham Hurd on behalf of Steel Horse LLC. With me is Ms. Mahan and Mr. Mahan.
Morning. Do you want to proffer this as well?
Absolutely. This is location at 349 South Calhoun. Ms. Mahan has been managing and operating in some capacity this location for about 3 years. She's known the current owner and operator for, she said, her whole life. If the board does check the history at this location, it had quite a checkered past. I think about 22 years ago, it was up for protest on a handful of occasions. Things have significantly calmed since then to where everything's pretty mild at this point. It is a 7-day D, so there's no liquor available. It's just beer and wine. Ms. Mahan is aware of that. She has a good relationship with the current inspector, although I think they just shifted a couple days ago. And plans to operate it under the rules and regulations of the Liquor Board, buying all inventory from wholesalers, not serving minors. It's a quiet place. I've been there a handful of times.
Okay. It did have some difficulties, the most recent in 2020, but hopefully will be good going forward. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis then the materials contained in the application and the proffer from council, I vote to approve this application to transfer ownership of a Class D beer and wine license.
Based upon the proffer and the contents of the application, I too would approve this application to transfer ownership of this D beer and wine license.
Yes, based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership of a D beer wine license.
No exhibits for the record.
All right, good luck, folks.
Good luck.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council has received instructions on how to legally complete the transfer of ownership that the board preliminarily approved today. Shall we move forward, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Item number 10 on the regular docket, One Distinct LLC trading as Mount Royal Tavern. Premises are located at 1204 Mount Royal Avenue. Holders of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. This is an application to transfer ownership thereof.
Morning.
Good morning, Your Honor, members of the board. John Carden on behalf of 1204 West Mount Royal, or Mount Royal Avenue. Pardon.
Mr. Carden, you want to proffer for us?
Yes, Your Honor, and just in preliminarily, Dave Mister is supposed to be here. He had an emergency this morning. I have done some work with these individuals in other capacities. I have never proffered in front of the liquor board before, so this is going to be my first time.
I suspect you can handle it.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Mount Royal Tavern is one of the oldest bars actively running in the city. It's run continuously for over 100 years and been featured in Baltimore Magazine. This proffer is for a transfer of the license, and it is the current owner is going to remain on payroll for whatever time is required in order to make sure that everything is running smoothly and there's enough experience and exposure provided by the new owners that are going to be assuming it.
Is this Mr. Wisniewski to your right?
This is Mr. Wisniewski to my right. I apologize for.
All right.
I'm going to provide to you what Mr. Wisniewski provided me earlier this morning. I only brought one. I only made one copy.
All right.
Didn't know that I was going to be doing this. These are letters of support from various and sundry people as well as community associations. Most importantly, or most notable, MICA, the largest institution in the area, is adamantly in support, as well as Bolton Hill Community Association. One Distinct LLC is the liquor license owner, and Mr. Wisniewski is on that. He's the person who's on that license. The current bar manager, who is, I believe, liquor certified, is going to remain in, as well as all the staff. 100% of the staff and the members of the team are going to continue to be part of this institution. There's not going to be any change in any of the management as well as any of the employees. There is, in terms of reputation of the owners, just for your edification, Mr. Deacon is a famous local musician, and he needs to make sure he maintains that reputation because that's how a lot of his business comes from that. Mr. Adams just received an honorary degree from MICA for his work in the community in terms of art exposure. And Mr. Wisniewski is the director of the Compound, which is an organization, an institution that has a live entertainment license, not a liquor license, but he helps run that and works with that all within the community. Obviously, Mr. Wisniewski also resides in the city. What else can I tell you that I want to make sure that you have? If there's any questions, obviously, Mr. Wisniewski is here to answer them.
Let's see if the commissioners have any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Anything further, Mr. Carden?
No, Your Honor. No,
We're pretty familiar with this place. It's been around for a long time. Okay, well, there was one sale and minor violation about 4 or 5 years ago, so be mindful of that, be careful. But on the basis of the materials contained in the application and the proffer from council, vote to approve the application to transfer this BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license.
Based upon the proffer and the contents of the application, I too would approve this application to transfer ownership.
Yes, based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership.
Ms. Russell?
Michael Exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, letter of support from Bolton Hill Community Association. Licensee Exhibit 1, various letters of support from community.
Yeah, all right, good luck.
Thank you very much.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council is receiving instructions from this agency on how to legally complete the transfer of ownership the board has preliminarily approved this morning. Shall we move forward?
Yes.
Item number 11 on the regular docket, South Clinton Tavern LLC, trading as Annabelle Lee Tavern. Premises are located at 601 South Clinton Street, holders of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. And this is an application to transfer ownership thereof with continuation of outdoor table service.
For the record, Melvin J. Kandensky, 320 North Charles Street. This is a transfer of an existing location, Annabelle Lee's. It's a restaurant that's been up in the Hollandtown area for a number of years. In this case here, Mr. Malik lives in the 3500 block of Fairmount Avenue, which is only several blocks away. He's buying also the property for that location. He has experience of having worked in various restaurants that had alcohol, never had any problems with him. The location presently has about 3 or 4 employees. He plans on keeping all those employees, and also will have them, ones that are serving the alcohol that are in the front of the house, alcohol certified, and his outdoor table services. A lot of the places now and the restaurants have it. There won't be any change in the way it's set up. It's a fairly small restaurant that's sit there on the corner, and at this point here, he is about ready to go ahead. He's going to close on the property the next day or so.
Okay, and I don't see any prior violations on this license. Commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the application and the proffer from council, I vote to approve the application to transfer ownership of this BG7 beer, wine, and liquor license with continued outdoor table service.
Based upon the proffer, the contents of the application, I too would approve this application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service.
Based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service.
Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you.
Good luck, Mr. Malik.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council has received instructions on how to legally complete the transfer of ownership, which by law must occur within 180 days of today's hearing. Shall we move forward?
Yes.
Item number 12 on today's regular docket, Narayanam LLC, trading as Aloha. Premises are located at 1218 North Charles Street, holders of a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. This is an application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service and requesting off-premises catering.
Abraham Hurdle on behalf of the prospective licensees who are with me to my right. This location is at 1218 North Charles Street. They'll be purchasing the business and entering into a new LLC by buying the assets. This location is open and operating. We did sit down with the liquor board the other day, and we did receive a letter from the community group. This location has had some strong concerns in the past. It operates in a way the community isn't thrilled with, but currently is acceptable. The licensees are going to be adding more food to the menu that should bring things more in compliance.
I mean, I think they really are concerned that it be a restaurant.
Correct, absolutely. Well, it absolutely is a restaurant, and they're going to be offering more food in all areas of the location. They're going to continue operations as a sushi restaurant. They may offer some ghost kitchen options for delivery and Uber Eats and things of that nature. And they're in discussions with the landlord to potentially renovate the space to make it even more compliant. 2 of the members of the group have also already joined the community association so that they can be an active participant in the discussion with the community and hopefully kind of shift things with their views going forward.
Okay. I'm being handed things from Mount Vernon. So they've joined?
Correct.
The association?
2 members have, absolutely. And they've got an experienced staff managing the location. I think the 3 or 4 managers that they have brought on board, I think have a combined experience in excess of 40 or 50 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
This did have some sales to minors in 18 and 19, so.
I think that was 2 owners ago, correct.
That turns over frequently. Okay. Well, I hope, I'm glad our staff met with you.
Absolutely.
I think
and we appreciate the time.
To try to get out ahead of any problems with the association because they're very vigilant about this area and they're concerned about it, as you know from our other situations. So, all right, on the basis of the materials contained in the application and the proffer from council and the exhibits received, vote to approve this application to transfer ownership of this Class B beer, wine, and liquor license with continued outdoor table service and off-premises catering.
Based upon the proffer, the contents of the application, the exhibits received, I too would approve this application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service and off-premise catering.
Based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service and a request for off-premise catering.
Ms. Russell?
I call exhibit, Board Exhibit 1, packet of opposition from Mount Vernon Belvedere Association.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council's received instructions on how to legally complete the transfer of ownership of the board preliminarily approved today, which by law must occur within 180 days of today's hearing. Shall we move forward, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Item number 13 on the regular docket, 2760 Lighthouse Point LLC, trading as Raw and Refined. Premises are located at 2701 Boston Street. Holders of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and this is a request to expand the licensed premises.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Joe Woolman on behalf of the applicant. Tom Wood is standing to my right. He's from Monument Marine. Seth Peachert is the... Peachert? I always say your name wrong. Is that right? Okay. Seth Peachert is the licensee.
Okay. Do you want it proper for us?
Certainly. I have an outline which I'll submit to the board as part of the record.
All right. Thank you.
This is
Be received.
request to expand an existing license, which is adjacent to this particular property. There's a bit of a substantial history regarding this. I'll just give the board a really quick background, as this is somewhat of a high-profile site. This is Lighthouse Point, which is the waterfront area in the Canton community in southeast Baltimore. My client, Monument Marine, acquired the marina at Lighthouse Point, ironically from another client, Warhorse LLC. We had to conduct a lot line adjustment with the city, which got rather convoluted. The board may be familiar with the Bo Brooks restaurant and the lighthouse there that Lighthouse Point is named after. We wanted to make sure that the Bo Brooks property was included in the acquisition for the marina, because the marina operators are very interested in having an excellent amenity, not only for the boaters but for the public. And the lot line, believe it or not, actually used to run right through the middle of the Bo Brooks building, so we had to go through that whole exercise. Eventually, we're going to be back in front of this board, hopefully sooner than later, on a new Class B restaurant license application. I believe the governor yesterday signed into law. I see Mr. Blending nodding his head. I'm sure through his contacts at the state, he probably was able to confirm that. But our understanding was a bill was signed into law yesterday that will allow us to apply to the board for that Class B restaurant license for the overall project. What we're here before you today on is really a temporary seasonal expansion of the adjacent license, which is at the Raw and Refined location, which is contiguous with our property, fortunately. Obviously, the marina operator would like to offer some amenity to their new boaters and new customers this summer. I was down there this morning with my client and with a member of the community touring the property, and they've already completed a portion of the marina improvement, which really looks fantastic. They didn't want to go through all that exercise, have a new marina, try to attract new boating customers, and have just an empty space right next to the marina. So this temporary seasonal expansion, and I think there is a map, or actually a plat in your file that shows the area that was covered in the marina by the existing license, and then the proposed area that is proposed for the expansion. And then I have also, I'll submit for the record, just a very short description of what we're looking to do temporarily and seasonally at the limited premises, I'll call it, for this season. Those of you that may or may not have been to Bo Brooks in the past, there was a floating dock on the water side of the Bo Brooks restaurant that was part of the restaurant. My client is bringing in a totally refurbished and upgraded floating dock for the same location for this season. I've kind of referred to it as a pop-up when I've talked to members from the community, that this really is temporary. We plan to conduct a robust community outreach with the entire Canton community area when it comes to the entire project. This request is for an expansion for this very limited purpose, limited menu, which we've provided in that packet, limited hours, Again, it's really a temporary, sort of a stopgap, if you will, application and request so that we can offer something during this season. The entire project and the restaurant itself probably won't, we're probably looking at what, early '24?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll be back in front of you hopefully sooner than later, hopefully with an MOU executed with the community for the overall project. We look forward to that. My clients are hosting an event for the immediate neighbors next Wednesday to tour the property to give them an update on the project and where they are at this point. And we'll continue to engage with the community throughout. But I would submit and proffer, based on my outline, that we meet the requirements of the code for the expansion to be approved.
The expansion is to create a bar and light fare.
I'm sorry?
A bar with light fare.
Yes, I think that's an accurate description. I think we have a drink menu and a food menu in that packet that I provided you.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No question.
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the application, the proffer from council, and the exhibits received, I vote to approve the request to expand the licensed premises at this BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license as set forth in the application.
Based upon the proffer, the exhibits, and the contents of the application, I too would grant this request to expand the licensed premises.
Yes, based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also vote to approve the request to expand licensed premise.
Ms. Russell?
Michael Exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, business plan. Board Exhibit 2, premise layout.
Thank you. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Shall I move to the last matter?
Please.
Item number 14 on the regular items. 2844 Hudson LLC, trading as Lee's Pint and Shell. Premises are located at 2844 Hudson Street. Holders of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and this is also a request to expand the licensed premises.
It is.
Thank you. You want to identify yourself for the record, please?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Brooke Hutchins. I'm here on behalf of the licensee, 2844 Hudson Street LLC, which goes by the name of Lee's Pint and Shell. I'm joined by the individual licensee applicant, Teresa Mascunas, who also manages the restaurant, Lee's Pint and Shell. I'm also joined by David Carey, the restaurant's owner, and the owner of the property, 2844 Hudson Street.
Do you mind if we swear them in?
Sure.
Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the answers that you give and the statements that you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
So I just have a preliminary question. On the application, it appears that Ms. Mascunas, is that how you say your name? You don't live in Baltimore? Is that a problem, Mr. Blundy?
This particular licensee, I believe, has held the license long enough to be grandfathered in through ownership of real property prior to 2015.
Okay. Good. I wasn't trying to create a problem. I was just concerned. All right. Go ahead, please.
And I just wanted to say on behalf of my colleague Caroline Hecker that she wishes she could have been here today. I'm filling into her very, very big shoes. So we're here today regarding an application to expand the licensed premises for the existing Lee's Pint and Shell restaurant to include a second floor balcony. Pursuant to Rule 4.18 of the regulations, permission from this board must be obtained to make an alteration or addition to the licensed premises. I can give a little background about the restaurant. Lee's Pint and Shell is a seafood-centric restaurant located at 2844 Hudson Street in Canton. Mr. Carey opened Lee's in 2016, replacing his former restaurant that occupied the space, Sauté, which occupied the space from 2008 until 2016. Lee's is named after Mr. Carey's father, Lee Carey, who was an avid fisherman and outdoorsman. There's 2 articles about the restaurant in your packet. As far as procedural history, this applicant currently holds a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. In connection with this license, this board in 2009 approved outdoor table service along the first floor of the property for the former Sauté restaurant. In 2017, following the opening of Lee's, this board granted the applicant's request to expand the licensed premises to include the second floor of the property. In January 2021, the applicant received approval from the zoning board to construct a balcony along that second floor and to expand outdoor dining service to the second floor. Upon receiving BMZ approval, the applicant built the second floor balcony, which there's a picture of in your packet. And that's what brings us here today. We're now requesting an expansion of the licensed premises to include that second floor balcony. With the addition of the balcony, the estimated seating capacity of the restaurant is 236 across the first and second floors. A copy of that floor plan is also in your packet. So just in terms of the balcony, and there has been a memorandum of understanding executed between the applicant and the Canton Community Association that was executed in December 2020. In its operation of the balcony, the applicant has agreed under that MOU that the seating capacity of the balcony will not exceed 50 seats. The balcony will only be used for dining. All customers will remain seated while dining. The outdoor seating on the balcony will be permitted between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. No amplified sound will be allowed on the balcony. Further, in accordance with the zoning board's decision, there will be no outdoor bar, tavern, or live entertainment, and all patrons will be seated again for dining on the balcony. As far as community outreach, this applicant has done its work in anticipation of the licensed premises. As I mentioned, there was an MOU executed with the Canton Community Association. The CCA also submitted a letter of support for the expansion just this month. The applicant has also received letters of support from surrounding neighbors and a petition containing 155 signatures. All the MOU, the letters of support, the petition are all included in your packet.
And are they willing to have the terms of the MOU be put on the license?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so a little bit about the individual licensee applicant. Teresa Mascunas, or Terry, is involved in day-to-day operations. She also manages the restaurant. She is the licensee on another liquor license issued in Cecil County for Captain Lee's Marina in Perryville, Maryland. Ms. Mascunas is familiar with the rules and regulations of the Baltimore City Liquor Board and pledges to abide by them. In addition, the restaurant enforces a policy that all servers and bartenders become tip certified. I'd also like to point out that there have been no violations at this establishment since it opened in 2016.
You're correct about that.
So the board rules do not specify criteria for approval of the alteration of a licensed premises, except to mandate that we need the board's permission. This applicant does satisfy the criteria to approve a new license set forth in Rule 2.02, which I'm happy to go through if the board would like.
I don't think so.
Okay.
So commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No questions. All right. It's very good, very comprehensive. Thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the application, proffer from council and the exhibits received, I vote to approve the request to expand the licensed premises on this BG7 beer, wine, and liquor license, subject to the terms of the MOU executed with the Canton Community Association to the extent those terms are enforceable by law.
Based upon the contents of the application, the proffer, I too would grant this request to expand licensed premises, subject to the terms of the MOU to the extent they're enforceable by law.
Yes, based on the testimony materials provided today, I also vote to approve the request to expand in the licensed premise, subject to the MOU.
Ms. Russell?
Medical exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, MOU between applicants and Canton Community Association. Board Exhibit 2, business plan.
Thank you, Ms. Hutchins, and good luck, folks.
Good luck to you, Smith.
That concludes this matter before the board. That concludes all matters on this morning's docket.
You want to read the adjournment then?
Yes, Your Honor. The next time... I'm sorry?
With Larry's approval.
Oh. You good? You good, sir? Okay. The next time the board will be in this room will be Thursday, May 18th, 2023 at 10:30 a.m. However, the board shall stand in recess until a virtual hearing on Monday, May the 8th, 2023 at 1 p.m. to consider the order from the protest of renewal docket that the board would hold their decision for 11 days. and details of how to access that shall be available on the board's website as soon as practical.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to the commissioners and the staff and everybody at the liquor board and to all the participants today, and we will see you in a couple weeks.